Hollywood is awash with franchises, to the point that our screens are saturated with sequels, reboots, and IP adaptations. Originality is becoming the preserve of small to medium budget indie productions, so it's always refreshing when a company pumps blockbuster money into something new. Netflix just released Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, the third installment in the Knives Out franchise starring Daniel Craig as the genius private crime consultant Benoit Blanc. It's written and directed by Rian Johnson, whose most notable credits previously have been Looper and Star Wars The Last Jedi. Since latter, these are the only films he's made. First of all, I like to nitpick. Knives Out is the name of the first movie, and to me, it makes no sense to call the sequels Knives Out mysteries, especially as there are separate plots that are only connected by the main character. Surely they should be called the Benoit Blanc mysteries. The story centres around Father Judd Duplantis, a Catholic priest who's sent to a failing parish led up by Monsignor Jefferson Wicks, a belligerent and narcissistic priest who has a strange hold on a small group of parishioners who've chosen not to leave the parish because of Wicks' behaviour. Duplantis is a former boxer who killed his opponent in the ring and has been wrestling with the guilt ever since. After an intense sermon, Wicks takes a break in a storage closet in the church and is somehow murdered, despite there being no way for anyone to have snuck in and stabbed him, other than Judd, the first person to enter the closet when Wicks mysteriously collapses. He's obviously the suspect, but the sheriff calls in Blanc to unravel what, to most people, would be an open and shut case. For an hour and a half, the plot winds through twists, turns, trauma, tragedy, tribulation, and treachery. It's actually 2 hours, but the first 30 minutes is exposition on all the characters and the events leading up to the crime. Benoit comes in, does whatever he does with the help of Judd and the sheriff, then everything falls into place through revelations and twists and all the rest of it. It's a by-the-numbers attempt at an Agatha Christie-style whodunit that's supposed to take us on a wild ride of genius leaps of logic and intense intrigue that only an insightful genius could truly comprehend. It's fine, I suppose. I like the first one, and the second was okay, as is this. I haven't bothered rewatching the others because I felt no compulsion to. They did their job for better or worse and I moved on. I don't think I wasted my time watching this, but it didn't exactly light up my imagination. I had a few questions at the end of it, which would seem to be basic and require some addressing in the script, but there seemed to be more focus on the grand revelations than the yeah but inconsistencies and logical flaws. Daniel Craig seems to be phoning in the role, but he's talented enough to still be enjoyable. Josh O'Connor is very convincing as a young priest who's easily intimidated and still wrestling with his own demons. He is not convincing as a former boxer. There are a couple of times where he goes into a stance or throws a punch, and even my lack of knowledge of boxing is enough to know he's never been in a ring or pretended to be in a ring before. It's clear that Wicks is supposed to be Trump, and the main group of suspects are MAGA. One of them is a failed Republican candidate who talks about how he ticked off all the right boxes for talking points but got nowhere. The reason implied should be obvious. The theme is the Republicans are easily led and the leaders don't really believe what they say but say it because it gets them money and power. It's a point that is simplistic and not exactly portrayed cleverly, but it's also not smashed over the viewers' heads. The focus is still the murder. Like the previous two films, everyone is forgettable. It wasn't until Craig appeared and introduced himself that I realised what the character's name was. I can't see any reason why they would be so under the thrall of Wicks, but I guess that's kind of the point. They seem intelligent but are weak-minded and easily led, and just like, well, you know. I do appreciate that it's an original franchise that's trying to present an alternative to the IP-obsessed movie landscape of the day. It's on Netflix, so it doesn't have to worry about box office gross. It had a budget of about $150 million, which is odd. It's set in rural New York, but it looks like it was filmed in an English village. There's no massive set piece, no special effects, and only one major movie draw. So where exactly did the budget go? We're supposed to look at this plot as clever and convoluted, with clues hidden in plain sight and leaps of logic that are explainable but hard to comprehend. We're meant to look at Benoit Blanc as a dashing genius who can see things others will always be blind to, even when it's right in front of them. Like Poirot, Marple, Holmes and Columbo, Blanc is meant to sit in that special pantheon of peak deduction that mere mortals could never understand. In reality, this plot relies heavily on leaps of logic that seem unreasonable or convenient. It requires a heavy preamble of extensive exposition that had me checking the runtime and wondering when the plot was actually going to get started. Their characters are far from the worst, but I didn't exactly get invested in them either. I'm not sure if I was supposed to sympathise with them or hate them, so I ended up feeling neither. I could see what they were meant to represent, and I was happy that the political undertones didn't slap me around the face. But maybe that would have been better. At least I would have cared. Craig, Glenn Close and Josh Brolin are the big names, though Josh O'Connor has been given what is the true lead role. Some have said he's being considered for the role of Bond. If so, he needs to improve his stance. No one stands out, and that includes Brolin when he chews up the scene. They are all okay. And that's about all I can say about the film. It's okay. It's a big nothing burger of a movie. I didn't hate it and I didn't love it. I didn't like it, nor did I dislike it. It was there on my screen, doing whatever it needed to do, and it ended. That's it. It wasn't a waste of time, but it wasn't especially fulfilling either. The money could have been better spent for sure. But then again, it's a good way of getting eyeballs and subscriptions. It had a limited cinema release in America, so it'll be eligible for the Oscars, though I don't know what they expect to get out of that. It'll be forgotten very quickly, just like the last two. I doubt many will watch it more than once, and when the fourth one comes out, we'll watch it and quickly move on. Wake Up Dead Man is fine. That's it. That's all I can say, really.